Hey, Ariel Davis here, co-founder and creative director of the Zerlo network. I've been kind of wanting to do a get ready with me video for a little while. I've kind of been putting it off because honestly it just felt kind of awkward, but I'm experimenting with new kinds of visibility and I actually had something I kind of wanted to talk about today, so I was going to do my makeup while we talk. So, what I want to get into is, have you ever had this experience where it's just like you were talking to a friend or maybe even your romantic partner, somebody that you love, and they share with you some sort of win that they're having? So they might be like, I just got a client, or I just got invited to speak at a conference, or I just got invited to be on a podcast, or I just finished my manuscript, something. And you're just like, oh my God, congratulations. That's so wonderful. I'm so excited for you. And like mentally, you mean that, and your mouth is saying what you want to feel, but you don't actually feel that way. Like in your body something feels off. That's kind of what I want to get into in this video today, because I think it's a topic that not a lot of people are talking about, but that is really, really necessary to talk about in a productive way. So we're going to talk about that while I do my makeup. Okay, let me turn this light. Oh, that looks better. Okay, light on. I just went and reheated my tea. Can you see the steam on this thing? Oh, okay, you can't see it. Oh, by the way, these are the Zerlo mugs. Anyway, back to the topic. So let's talk about that feeling and where it comes from. First of all, I think what I didn't know when I very first started experiencing it, because nobody really talks honestly about that feeling, that I was genuinely confused by it. I had this entire story in my head where I was just like, oh, I'm just a bad friend, or I'm a bad partner, or what's wrong with me? Do I have a scarcity mentality? Like, why can't I overcome it? It was just all of these things. And until I healed from it, I didn't really understand where it came from and why it wasn't necessarily like a bad thing. And so that's kind of what I want to get into. So, again, originally I kind of had this internal narrative of just like basically that I was a bad person. And there have been lots of people who would have validated that. Fenty Foundation, because we support black owned businesses. Shout out to Rihanna, we share the same birthday. So originally I really thought that that was just me being a bad person because nobody had ever talked to me about wants and needs. And I kind of tried to ignore it. And then it was kind of like, do I just have pick me energy? Like we've got all of these phrases that we use in culture where it's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Just like something that makes you feel bad about yourself, something that tells you however you're feeling is wrong and that your feelings aren't valid. Whether that's just like you just need to get past your own ego, you have pick me energy, like, or you're just envious of other people, or you're not happy for other people. And I try to be a good person. And so I used to feel really, really bad when those feelings came up. And so I like tried to push them down and try to pretend they weren't there and just overcome them. And that never really worked. And so then at some point, I started exploring what those feelings were trying to show me. Can you tell I've never done this before? Like, I mean, not my makeup, but just on camera. This is crazy. I don't know if it's ever been this chaotic. Good Lord. So, anyway, in order to get to the root of it, I had to think about what was this feeling in my body trying to show me. And I realized like it was truly an unmet need. Every time I talked to somebody who had had some sort of win in their professional life, that pain feeling wasn't just me being a jealous bitch. Like it wasn't. It was my body letting me know that there was a need that I had that was going unmet. And one of the things that I think we really need to talk about is getting really familiar with our needs. Like, I don't know how you heal without it. I just don't. And so it was like, okay, what is this feeling of envy, of jealousy trying to show me? If I take the self judgment out of it, right? It's showing me that somebody that I love, or somebody that I care about, or even just somebody that I know is getting something that I want for myself, right? Whether that is opportunity, whether that is money, whether that is recognition, they're getting something that I feel like I'm not getting, right? And for me, visibility and recognition for being brilliant and being skilled at what I do was one of those big things. And so I started to think about like, where did this actually come from? Like, where did this start for me? And I went back to a core memory that I had, which was when I was a little girl. I will never forget this. I came home from school. I think we were in the point in our curriculum where it was just like, so this had to be like first grade or kindergarten where you start making things. And I remember making something at school, let's call it like drawing a picture. And I remember coming home, right, from school. And I walk into the kitchen. I've got my like little me's got like my little backpack on. And I come in and then I take my backpack off. I open it up and I pull out this picture that I've made. And my parent is standing at the counter making dinner. And so I pull out my little picture and I hold it up and I'm like super excited. And I remember just like holding it up and then like the parent just like looking at me, looking at what I was holding up and then just taking it from me, looking at it, and then just like putting it to the side. And at the time, I was really, really confused. Somewhere in this memory, I just feel like that I'd probably seen some sort of like Disney Channel moment, right? I think all of us have those. Like Disney, unless it was like a animated film, because one of the parents inevitably died. I don't know what Disney has around like two parent households, but whatever. But like on the Disney Channel shows, they always seem to have very like healthy, like loving parents. And so I probably saw this on Disney or Nickelodeon, some kid giving something to their parent and their parent being like, "Oh my God, this is so wonderful. It's so good. I'm so proud of you for making this," like being really excited. And so I think my little brain was expecting that to play out in my own home. And when that didn't happen, I remember just kind of standing there very, very confused. Not necessarily thinking like or knowing something bad happened, but just feeling like what something just did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And so I remember just like walking back to my room feeling super confused. And so what's interesting about that is, and I didn't even realize this until I started the healing work, that that same feeling of confusion that I was having was that same feeling of confusion. I started feeling it as an adult, especially when I started trying to build a business online because it was essentially the same thing. And you know how it goes. You work really hard on a video or a post or a caption or something, right? You work super hard on it and you hit post and it's almost the same thing. It's almost the exact same thing. It's literally you putting something up and expecting some kind of reaction because you worked super hard on it and you just get nothing. And the difference between like you doing that as a small child versus an adult is as an adult, you can assign some sort of meaning to it. Meaning, and this is the one I chose. This is the easy one to choose, right? Oh, it must not be good. It must not be good, right? That little drawing I held up must not have been good, or my parent would have been like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. It's so good." When I create a video or post something, it must not be good if nobody's engaging with it. And that is not true. But we can never really get to the core of why we feel that way and why that feeling is so disorienting and confusing until we go back to that original moment. And so then we have to question, okay, is that actually true? Is this meaning that I've assigned actually true? And there's a couple of meanings, right? The first one is like I'm bad for feeling envious when other people win, when really it's just I feel like my abilities going unmet or unrecognized. We've got lots of acne, hormonal acne places to cover up. So here we are. Or it could be that what I'm putting out is not good enough. Either way, like when you get older, you start assigning this meaning to it. And it is literally, I think, the thing that stops people from putting incredible work out there. So then we have to question that. And since I went back to that core memory, what I figured out was the same way it was not about me when I held up that drawing when I was very small, is the same way it's not about me when I put something out and I don't get a response. It's not necessarily a reflection of the work. A lot of times it's a reflection of the person and their capacity in that moment. So I think what probably happened with my parent is that they were overwhelmed in that moment. They had a lot of responsibility, a lot of things to do, maybe a lot of things on their mind. Don't Doesn't make it any less dramatic or hurtful, but you know what I'm saying. And they just kind of set it to the side. Who knows what they were thinking in that moment? The same way, it's kind of like who knows what somebody is thinking when they come across your post, even if it's impactful and they don't say anything. They could have just gotten interrupted by a kid, or they could be embarrassed to say that whatever you're putting out there is resonating with them, especially if you post content like mine. Uh, my content is reflective, boo. Like, you gonna see yourself in this mirror. Who wants to take somebody in the dressing room with them, right? Like, you don't want everybody else to know what you're seeing in that private space unless you're me. And so I get it, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with you or that it was about you. And then here's the other thing. So once you realize, like, okay, this likely has nothing to do with me, other people's responses for the most part have very little to do with me. Now, I'm not saying you can just go around being an asshole, but when it comes to putting your work out there, putting yourself out there, it doesn't have to be about you. And so, because I recognized that and I started feeling it, and I realized that part of the reason I was feeling so jealous and so unseen was because I had stopped putting myself out there. I actually looked for an opportunity to do that. And so, one of the things when I was doing my healing work that I wanted to do was heal this part of me that, like, really came about when I was in middle school. I really wanted to be like an actress at that time, and I wanted to be in school plays. And because of things like unconscious racism, I didn't get roles, no matter how hard I worked, no matter how hard I worked on the lines, whatever. And so I stopped doing it. So when I became an adult, I decided, you know what? I want to do this for myself. I'm going to go audition for something. And so I auditioned for a play here in my hometown. And I hadn't acted in probably, I mean, maybe 2 decades. Like, it had been a really, really long time, but I was like, I'm doing it. I'm going to step out there. I want to earn something on my own merit. I'm going to do it. So I remember going to the audition. I was very nervous. I had to do like a couple of cold reads. Some of them were partnered cold reads, some of them were solo, but I did them and I felt like I did pretty good. And I remember they had us all in this like auditorium, and it had to be at least 30 people there auditioning. And I think they probably only maybe had half of the room for that. It may have been more than 30 people. And so they come in and they're like, Ariel Davis and Jane Doe. I won't say this person's name. You can go home. And I'm like, what, like, what, okay, like, I don't say anything, but on the inside, I'm like, oh my God, I just embarrassed myself. I came to try to do this new thing and put myself out there, and I'm two of 30 people to get dismissed right away. And I remember just going back to my car and just sitting there and crying and texting my partner and being like, I was literally so bad at this that they just sent me home first. And I kind of spent the next 24 hours just sulking because it just kind of validated everything that I thought, like, oh, maybe I'm not meant to be in the spotlight. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. All of those narratives came up. And I remember the phone ringing the next day and me answering it and the director being like, how do you think you did in your audition? And I was just like, I don't know. I thought I did okay, but like, also I got dismissed first. And he was like, well, you got the lead. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he was like, you got the lead. You got the lead in the play. You are the lead character. We want you to play. The character's name was Odessa. And so I had to realize that at some point, I had been keeping myself in the dark, keeping myself hidden. I feel the same way about social media, like not just, and about YouTube. It's why I'm going to put out this video. This video, God, if you've made it this far, you know this video is not perfect. It is so far from perfect. It's not even how I envisioned it in my head. It was scripted beautifully, and we've lost the plot. We've lost the point. We're going to get better. I'm putting it out anyway because I'm at this point in my journey. I'm not necessarily looking for external validation anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to get, and I do think it's important. I am not one of these people who are just like, you just need to let go of external validation. Bullshit. Bullshit. Sometimes you need people to reflect your greatness back to you. A lot of times you need that. It's not an either or, it's a yes and. Like, come on. But with that being said, my entire goal for this is to literally walk my talk. In my role at Zerlo, I am responsible for helping people bring their brilliance forward. People who have been gone unnoticed in their brilliance, in their work, and their skill, whether that's like a wealth manager or like a somatic coach or a therapist or an executive coach or somebody who has just gone on unnoticed in their work, and they're watching other people get the opportunities that they want, maybe even sometimes they're friends, and they're feeling very quietly jealous and then judging themselves for it instead of doing the thing that will actually help them get through that, right? Instead of actually stepping out there, instead of going to audition, putting themselves in the spotlight. I help people with that kind of visibility issue at Zerlo. And it does require them to get over some of their perfectionism. It does require them to take risk and risk going. Let me get it. Let's get a sip. Ooh, got a little amped up. It does require them to put themselves out there and to continue to put themselves out there, whether they get an immediate response or not, and to really own their brilliance and their expertise. But I have to walk the talk. So that's part of the reason for this. And I do have my own show that is coming, that will be coming. I can't give you a date yet, but it's exciting. And once I do have it, I'm gonna put it out there. It's weird though. It's almost like, what is that saying? The shoemaker has no shoes. Is it the cobbler has no shoes? The emperor is wearing no clothes. Something about you being the person who helped somebody with something and then you not even doing that for yourself. So this is part of that strategy for me, and doing it imperfectly and letting somebody know that, like, listen, I really get all of the things that stop you from putting your best foot forward. I get what it's like to be the person in the background. I get what it's like to go unnoticed for things that you're really great at, to not be able to really live out the things that God has called you to do. And I have to do this to help with that. So I guess I'm trying to say, I realized that, like, I wasn't, at some point I realized I was not the only person suffering from this problem, and that's why I created Zerlo. Like, there are brilliant people everywhere who go unnoticed and don't get the recognition for what they do. Like, think about Oprah. Everybody knows the Oprah Winfrey Show. Do you know the name of a single producer? You probably don't know that shit without Googling it. Or think about some of your favorite songs. They probably have multiple songwriters that you don't know wrote that song. You just know the artist's name. Think about ghostwriters who do incredible work and nobody ever knows their name. And part of the issue is, though, part of the issue is like, you don't get the same kind of opportunities when you're not the face or the name. I know this. I know what it's like to live in the shadows. I've done it. This is me deciding not to do that anymore. And my work is literally about helping other people step out of the dark. Listen, a diamond doesn't sparkle in a drawer. You got to shine a light on it. That is what Zerlo literally does. And I want to be really clear about something, because I think a lot of the times when people talk about visibility and overcoming things, that they really talk about mindset. And I'm not saying mindset isn't important. I obviously had to do that inner work, but the only thing that really changes your life is actually doing the thing. It is actually stepping into a container that allows you to do the thing. And that's what Zerlo is. So I always say there's a difference between mindset and mechanism. I can tell you to reframe all day long. I could have told myself all day long, just be a better friend, or just don't be jealous, or just work on, like, not being so egotistical, or work on your energy or whatever. But the only thing that actually helped was me going to the audition and putting myself out there. Same thing when I got my opportunity when I used to co-host a show for NPR. The only thing that got me visible was literally me stepping into the spotlight. The same thing. That's the reason, if you are watching this, and God knows if you made it this far, that's the reason you're knowing me right now. That's the reason you're hearing Zerlo's name, is because I stepped into the spotlight. But that's not always easy to do. It's not easy to do for so many reasons, logistical reasons, like camera, lighting, right? We don't film here. I'm at my house. We have an entire studio with a 3-camera setup, a lighting engineer and an audio engineer. So you don't have to worry about that. And by the way, this is really hard. I can't wait to start filming my show. I'm too busy working on other people's shows, but I can't wait till I don't have to do all this. This is for the birds. This is the reason we exist. But beyond that, it's also hard to just continue to come up with topics that are compelling. That's where I come in. I'm really great at that. I'm not just going to do a mental reframe. When you come in, we're going to we're going to showcase your authority. I'm going to pull that out of you. We're going to put you on a set. You're going to have conversations where your brilliance becomes unavoidable and it becomes undeniable. You're sick of being unnoticed? Okay, let me shine a light on that diamond. Let me I don't want to say rub it out. That sounds kind of perverted, but hey, but let me shine that up a bit for you. You know what I'm saying? And let you sparkle the way you know you're meant to. Here's the thing that I don't love about mindset. Mindset just tells you you can. Mechanism shows you you can. Like one is asking you to believe that you can. One is you actually doing it. So it's not a question of belief anymore. The evidence is there, and I'm working on belief, but I'm definitely an evidence girly. Like I need evidence, and my body needs evidence. My nervous system needs evidence. The only way to gather evidence that you are who we all know you are is to step into that light, and that's what Zerlo is for. So look, the way I see it, like it basically comes down to two choices. One, you can continue to beat yourself up and act like you don't want the things that you want. You can call yourself a pick me. You can say that you have ego, or you can actually recognize that you have a real need to be recognized for shit that you're great at. And you can take a new path. You don't have to do any mental reframes. You can literally step into a container that supports you and allows you to capture the brilliance and authority that you already possess. And I promise you, anybody who has worked with me, I have taken what they already have and made it better every single time. Like, I don't even have to wonder if I'm capable. Like, it's just like, she's just that girl. Like, that's just who I am. Let me throw some caveats in there. Sometimes people aren't coachable. Sometimes they're in their own way. And so I really want to be clear, especially with the kind of content that I'm putting out right now, which is a lot about like the deeper work that you need to do. But I'm not here to rescue anybody. I'm here to empower people. And so I'm not going to be able to talk and do this 1 second. I'm going to come back when this is on. They were back, the eyeliner's on. And I always invite you to step into Zerlo's container, even if you're just like, this video sparked my curiosity more what you're talking about. I want to hear about Host Lab. We've got a cohort situation that you can step into where we can really show you that we can capture your expertise. We partner you with somebody who you can have a really great conversation with, where we see your point of view, your expert point of view. We see your point of view, your expert. Jesus, why can I not say expert point of view? Your expert, your expert point of view. The unique lens that you have on something that you know is powerful and can transform people if they just need to hear it. And also, they're like, okay, that person just said that in a way that I should probably pay them and work with them. We do that, right? And it's my job to bring those things out of you. Okay. I hope our time together has been helpful. I hope that like you're judging yourself a little bit less by the end of this video than you were at the beginning. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment. If it resonated with you, leave me a comment. If you made it to the end, leave me a comment and be like, listen, girl, I actually made it all the way through however long this is going to be. But we got somewhere. I'm putting it out imperfectly to show you that I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to be about it. And I will see you next time.